Welcome back to A to Z EDC. My name is Jim, and I'm here to talk to you guys about something that I just got in that I'm kind of excited about. This is the new CZ P10C Ported. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know that I am a huge fan of ported and compensated handguns, and some just work better than others. And I want to see if the P10C Ported works as well as people are claiming. Very quickly, I'm going to go ahead and pop the box open and show you guys what comes with it. I'm not going to belabor this because some people just go on and on and on and on with their damn unboxings. And honestly, that's the most boring part of the whole thing. Now, starting with the case, they have upgraded their case game a little bit. I like it. It's nice. It's well made. However, I have really become spoiled with these companies that are giving you really nice range bags. Single pistol cases that drop into your range bag or you can carry on its own. They're high quality, like the Savior bags, and they're practical. This is just going to take up room in a storage bin in a closet. And they're big and bulky and don't collapse. So after a while, you'll run out of friggin' room. Me, I like the bags because they're small, they're compact, they can squish together, and I could put a whole bunch into a bin and put it away. Now, inside, up above here, you're going to have your miscellaneous paperwork, which nobody really gives a shit about. Who really reads it anyway? You're going to have your optics plate cover for the slide. This is off because I've obviously got an optic on there. And then you have 3 back straps in total. The medium is on the pistol. This is the small, and this is the large. In here will be additional magazine base plates. Why? Because you get a standard 15-round magazine with the standard base plate, but they also give you 2 additional +2 base plates so that you can put up to 17 rounds in there. And that, I think, is a wonderful addition. And this, it took me a while to figure this out. This is like a make-your-own snap cap that they include. CZ is famous for having guns that don't like to be dry fired. I don't know that this gun has an issue with anything breaking from dry firing, but I'm going to use the snap caps for the most part anyway. I know on my P07, you cannot dry fire that a bunch because there is a small roll pin that works for the trigger. And every time you drop the hammer, you risk denting and then breaking that roll pin, which will stop your trigger from functioning. So I guess that's just a CZ thing. They've just gotten to the point where they're now including snap caps. All right, let's get the gun out of here, and we'll verify that it's clear and safe on camera. Okay, drop the mag. And as we see, perfectly clear and safe. And I will not be bringing any ammunition to the table to make it dangerous. Let's get some stuff back up here. All right. Now, before I get going on this, because this is going to be a desk pop video. Desk pop, for those of you that are newer to my channel, when I review guns, I do it in segments because I want to give each of these segments priority, and I want to give them the weight that they deserve. Number 1 is first impressions and the overall tabletop review, which I call the desk pop. After that, I go off and do the shots fired, where I take it to the range. We talk about how it shoots, what characteristics it has, and any failures or reliability issues, anything like that is done on the range in the shots fired video. And then if I make additional content with the same gun, I generally like to compare it to other similar guns. So I ask you, I own a lot of duty and carry sized ported and compensated guns. And I'd like to know, of the ones that I have, which would you like to see me compare this against on the range? Should it be its next closest competitor, which is a Glock 19? In that category, I have my Shadow Systems MR920 that has a compensator on it. So I've got the Radian ramjet and afterburner, custom trigger, and everything else is pretty much stock. And we can do a comparison to see which is more effective, the Radian system or the stock ported system in the CZ. Now, I already know that the Radian is very, very effective on my Shadow Systems, and it's one of my favorite guns as a result. So if you're weighing the options, hey, I've got a Glock 19 or some other Glock clone, and I'm thinking of doing the Radian ramjet and afterburner, or for just a couple dollars more, I could buy this entire gun. Which way should I go? I think that might be a good comparison. Let me know. And carrying on with a similar theme, I have the Shadow Systems CR920 XP. This is the slimline or like Glock 48 size gun with the factory comp on it. So this is going to be a little smaller, much slimmer, and lighter in weight. Do you want to see this compared with that on the range? And since the P10C is well known for having one of the best striker-fired triggers on the market, how about we compare it to the Archon Type B Gen 2? Now, this is not ported or comped in any way because the way this recoil system works and the way this barrel system works, the lockup system, I feel this is one of the very few guns that would not benefit from being ported. As a matter of fact, it might even take away from it because of how great this is. I still consider this to be the holy grail of all polymer striker fired guns. So if you want to see a showdown between these two, let me know that. And last but not least, we'll look at two completely different systems if you want. Striker fired polymer gun versus a 2011 single action gun that is also ported. This is my Bull Armory SAS2 EDC Pro with the 8 big ports in the barrel. Now this thing shoots like a pussycat, but it should, because another thing that separates these two is the cost. This is a $2,000 carry gun. This is a $500 carry gun. Can this keep up with this? Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there's no way it could keep up with it trigger-wise because this is one of the best 1911, 2011 triggers you can get your hands on. And I put this trigger on this particular gun above my Staccato CS. I love the CS, but this has a better trigger. Now, the other thing is this is a bigger gun by about a 1/4 inch in length. It is substantially thicker and wider in the grip. And for a lot of people, it's going to be too bulky and too heavy for an EDC gun. I've carried this quite often. It doesn't really bother me, but yes, you do feel the weight and the bulk and size of that grip. And finally, would you like me to compare this against my Staccato CS? CS is a little bit smaller. It is not ported. It's not customized in any way. But they're both really good carry gun size, with the CS being just a little bit more compact. If you let me know in the comments down below which way you want me to go, I will make sure that I put out a video comparing the guns that you guys request the most. All right, so let's get to the first impressions, the good, the bad, and the ugly, shall we? First off, again, I want to double check this. If you are a CZ75 fan, Shadow 2 fan, and you wish you could find a striker-fired polymer gun that gave you the same ergonomics, that's what this is. This is the CZ75 ergos built into their striker-fired gun. Now, when the original P10C came out around 2017, that stupid phrase that's so overused was being used in every presentation of this gun. It's the Glock killer. It's the Glock 19 killer. Because it is virtually identical in size and all other dimensions to a Glock 19, but with better ergonomics, significantly better trigger. And everybody just kept wanting to make that one gun that was better than what became the industry standard for the perfect carry gun. I'm not here to tell you that this is better than a Glock 19. That's entirely a personal choice. What I will say is, I can reiterate all of the positives that people have said for years. Yeah, man, the ergos are better. It feels better in the hand because it's not as blocky around the front strap. The undercut, in my opinion, is done better, so you're not going to get friggin' Glock knuckle. The texturing on the back strap and the front strap are much better, so you get better control of the pistol. I do dislike the fact that there's no texturing up here. So at some point, I am either going to stipple this area lightly, or I'm going to get some Talon grips and just cut a section. Actually, no, I'm not. I wouldn't even do that. I don't know what I'm thinking of. I have a silicone carbide kit that I did that application on my CZP-07, and I can select certain areas that I want to apply that to. So I'm going to put some here and put some right here so that I have greater control under my master grip. Now, if I were just shooting this one-handed, then this texture and this texture are fantastic. But shooting in a two-handed grip, I need something right there. That's where my support hand is trying to grip. For those of you that are lefties, you friggin' weirdos, you're going to enjoy this gun. You have your slide lock, slide release on both sides, and your mag release is reversible. It's not ambidextrous, but it is reversible. And as far as I understand, it doesn't take very long to do it. The trigger, let's take a look at that. There is your take-up. Nice, clean, easy take-up. Super crisp trigger. This is very close to being as perfect as my Canik rival, in the way that it feels, and very close to Walter's, what do they call that? The precision trigger that you could put into the PDP. Very, 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 very close. Now, again, consider the price of this gun. I can compare it to the crispness of my $1,000 Archon. I can compare it to the crispness and the reset and everything to my $750, $800 Canik. And I can compare it to an $800 Walter with the additional trigger. I believe that trigger is about $100. So I think for $500, already you're establishing fantastic value. The magazines, giving you the additional 2 rounds out of the box, is additional value. Plus the fact that CZ magazines are readily available and not expensive at all makes it another winner. It's another reason why so many people love Glock, because the Glock magazines are readily available and they're cheap. Now, there is one downside to this that luckily I did not have to experience, but it is a problem that does need to be discussed. This is an optics-ready firearm, right? It is. They don't give you the friggin' plates. So when you buy the gun, you can't immediately go out and shoot it with an optic on it. That's stupid. That's unbelievably stupid. Now, I got this gun in on trade. A friend of mine wanted a gun that I was wanting to get rid of, and he offered this to me. And I was like, you know what? I've been super curious about that for a while. Sure, let's go ahead and do that. And this is brand new, unfired. So that made even a better deal. And he threw in the optic. He threw in a couple of decent holsters. And all in all, I was happy with the deal. But if I had gone out and bought this brand new for 500 bucks and had to then, he spent $80 on this optics plate. I'm unaware if you can order a plate and get it for free from CZ or if you have to pay for one from CZ. If you pay for one from CZ, I'm sure that it's a lot less than this plate. I'm having a hard time remembering who made the plate now. He did tell me, but I forgot. Obviously, it was a good company, but 80 bucks is a bit friggin' excessive for a small plate of steel. Now, on here is the HoloSun 507C X2. So it's got the side-loading battery tray, and it's in the multi-reticle green. So for me, well, that's just damn perfect. It's a very, very good optic. Is that going to live on here forever? Probably not. I have a lot of really great optics laying around that are waiting to go onto a gun. I also have some more coming in for review as well. I've got an Aimwin coming in, and I've got the newest O sight coming in, the SE, which I'm pretty excited about because both of my O sights have been running phenomenally well. And I've had them for just under a year, I think. They're both running just friggin' great. So I have high expectations. Now, what I want to know about and what we are going to discover together when I take this on the range for the shots fired video is how controllable is this firearm due to this porting. One thing that I like about CZ is the fact that they didn't call this comped like everybody else has. Well, my backdrop is just not big enough, is it? You look at almost every other company that's been doing this shit lately, they're calling it comped. That is not a compensator. I'm not going to get into it again. I've discussed that in previous videos, so I don't want to bore you. This is a ported bull barrel, period. It's a ported barrel, and they've cut the matching port into the slide because that has to be done. That's it. It is backboard and not rifled from this point right here forward. So just behind where the port begins, all the way forward. You can see right there, no rifling whatsoever. Unlike my Bull Armory, for example, it's ported way back here. They're milling into the areas that are rifled, so you can get some fragments of the jacket coming up. The spalling can come up through the vents as it's venting the hot gases. The only thing that comes out of here is the hot gases. That's it. So I don't have to worry about shrapnel hitting me in the face or anything goofy like that. Any of those old wives' tales people tell you because they don't know the difference in different porting jobs. I expect, because of the shape of this port, this is not just a hole and it's not just a notch. It has been flared and angled. I expect this to be a little bit more effective than most other factory ported guns. Like, you guys know, I love my Smith & Wesson M&P Shield Performance Center carry comp. It's a good gun. However, unless you're under super rapid fire, it's not all that effective. I expect this, with this cutout in the same exact area, I expect this to be more effective. One thing you will not hear from me that you hear on every shill channel, you'll never hear me say the gun shoots flat. Oh, it's so flat shooting. It has no recoil. That's something that irks me to no end. There is no such thing as a flat shooting gun of any sort. Even a 22 has a tiny bit of recoil and has a tiny bit of muzzle flip. And you do have to separate the two. The porting is not done for recoil management. The porting is done to prevent, or to subdue, I should say, the muzzle rise, the muzzle flip. You're still going to feel recoil. but it's a different kind of recoil because you're redistributing the gases. So you're going to feel it out here. You're going to feel that explosion, but it's not going to be kicking back into your hand, and it's not going to be flipping up. And I don't care how many ports you put in a gun, you cannot stop muzzle flip entirely. Go back and look at footage from the 1990s or early 2000s. Go back and look at IPSC matches where guys are running hybrid comps where they'll have a compensator that's over an inch long with 5 giant ports in it, and then they'll have 3, 4, 5, 10 ports in their friggin' barrels. And the gun still has a little bit of muzzle rise. That's because it's not just the exiting gases pushing back that cause the gun to do that. It's when your slide reaches its furthest, most rearward position. When it hits back like that, it's going to jerk the gun back. So don't buy compensated imported guns or have them comped or ported with the expectation that you're going to eliminate muzzle flip, because that can't happen. It's just going to make it more controllable. You're not making it flat. You're returning to zero on the target more quickly, with more consistency, with greater ease. That's the point of doing it. To be able to speed things up, to be able to be more controllable, which makes it safer. That's your goal. And I'll be honest with you, even though this is a $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 gun, I have very high expectations for that port job, and I think it's going to work really, really well. Am I wrong? Well, we're going to find out, but I'm going to be honest. You guys have heard me review other guns that everybody was just losing their shit over, practically jerking off on the damn gun range over. And they really weren't performing to that level. They're all still good guns, that's why I still have them, but they weren't doing the magic that everybody kept claiming. So if it does really well, I'm going to tell you it does really well. If it does only marginally better than other factory ported comped guns, I'll let you know that. If it falls flat on its face in comparisons, I'll let you know that. Because that's why we all watch these damn videos. We do it for 2 reasons. One is research before we put our money down. And number 2 is to validate our purchase after we've made the purchase. Did I buy the right thing? Is this a piece of shit or not? Now, it's a CZ. I know it's not going to be a piece of shit. Now, I'm not some brand loyal whore. I buy a lot of different brands. I'm not a fanboy of any one particular brand. And I don't believe in the whole CZ hipster thing. CZ makes damn good guns. Consistently damn good guns. That's why I have no problem paying whatever price they put on them. This is by far the lowest price. No, it's not. I apologize. My P07 was the lowest price. That was like $350, I think. But like compared to my Tactical Sport Orange that I bought several years ago, I don't have that anymore. I wish I did. And some others, Standard Shadow 2, this is a far cry from those prices. It's not a $1,500 or $2,200 gun. It's $500. And all you're really ever going to need to do to it, if you like optics, you throw an optic on there. And if you like weapon-mounted lights, you throw a light on there. That's it. It doesn't need anything else. It doesn't need a trigger job. Oh. You might do a little stippling or something, but that's it. Out of the box, you're going to carry it. It's going to be reliable, as far as I know. We'll find that out too. It's going to be comfortable. It's going to be accurate. That's what CZ is all about. And that's why I'm excited about this little inexpensive carry gun. Sure, it's not exotic or crazy or nothing, but it doesn't need to be. Man, I just want something that works good, that I can trust my life on. And I believe this is going to be one of those guns. Is it going to be that dream range gun that I'm going to want to take every single time I go to the range? Like my Archon? There's something about the Archon. Every time I decide I'm going to go shooting, I get a strong urge in my gut. Take the Archon. You want to shoot the Archon. You want to shoot the Archon. Because it's so much damn fun and it's so pleasurable to shoot. Is this going to be one of those guns? I really truly don't know. I hope it is, though, because I like everything about it so far. You've got really, really good serrations front and back. You've got the over-the-top serrations if you're one of those people that has to friggin' press check all the time for some reason. We're not going to get into that argument right now. It's got great ergonomics. It's got mediocre sights. The sights are metal, which is great, but they're that shitty glow-in-the-dark resin instead of being true night sights. Well, my gun's always going to be in the holster under a garment. It's never going to see daylight to charge those up. So when I pull it out at night, they're not going to be glowing. It's the stupidest thing ever. As far as I recall, HK was the first to do it back on the P30. And for me to say something that HK did was stupid, you know it's bad. Because I love HK too. But the sights, I could care less. Or I couldn't care less. I like the fact that I could put any optic I want to on here. Now it's time to end the desk pop. I've said all I need to say about it. Let's get this bitch out onto the range and see how it actually performs. And again, please do comment on this video right here and let me know what gun or guns you would like to see this head-to-head with in a comparison video. I am more than happy to do that. I'm actually kind of excited to do that because I want to know for myself. So let me know which ones you want to know about, and I'll be sure to take them out. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you on those future videos.